Hi guys, this is One Step Beyond, session 3. We're going to do it a different way now, so if you can help us with the podcast, we need your help. Me and Chris decided that we'd not put it on YouTube, but we're going to do live feeds on Facebook, and we'll put videos on. We go out fishing for men every week, so you'll come on the journey with us when we go to Middlesbrough or Stockton or wherever we are. You'll be on that journey with us, and we meet different people, so we hope you get excited on that Facebook Live. But this is a video, and with me I've got my son Caleb. So Caleb at the moment is where?
I'm at home at the moment.
We know you're at home, Caleb, but whereabouts are you? What you up to?
I'm currently on a summer break from university. I got a university in London at the moment. I'm going into my third year.
What's the university called?
The university is called UCL.
Yeah.
It's called, and that just stands for University College London.
And is that a good university?
It's pretty good. I mean, it's held to a pretty high standard, I guess, in especially in London. For the London University, it's probably the best.
Yeah.
In London. Yeah, and it's a good university. It's a big university as well, and I'm very proud to go there and be able to say that I go to University College London. It's great.
Yeah. And what do you do there, Caleb?
I study media.
Right.
Which is, it's kind of a broad term, media, especially now.
Yeah.
More than ever, because media could just mean so many different things. You know, this is media.
Yeah.
News, television's media. Obviously, the classic journalism, that's also media now. But social media, and then you got kind of these new wave of YouTubers and stuff coming and bringing up different concepts and ideas. Streaming, also a different media that's quite new now. Yeah, so it's a very broad term. It's also film and games and television, like I said. But yeah, and that's what I study.
And what do you know, you've told me and your mum, but what do you see yourself doing? What is it you'd like to do?
I want to make films.
Yeah.
I want to be a filmmaker. Wanted to do it for it feels like a long time now, and it's going to university in London is seriously opened the door for me now. Yeah, it's really, really different to how I imagined it. It's very, very chaotic filmmaking.
Yeah.
And you have an idea, you visualize what something's going to be like in your head, and it's never quite like that. It's always different, but you always learn from that, and you always get better through them new experiences. So it's a crazy world, but it's a great world, and I still love it.
Yeah.
But that's what I want to do. I want to make films.
Brilliant. So if we just pause there on the filmmaking, but you know, obviously I'm your dad, and we know about your beginnings. So tell us what it was like, say, year 7.
Year 7.
At Ian Ramsey School. What was life like then? One of the things I want to ask you is, did you ever imagine that you'd be 23?
I think I've always been aware of growing up.
Yeah.
But I've never really, at that age though, I never really knew what I'd be doing or where I would be. I was pretty naive as well. I kind of thought, my goal when I was in year 7, to go back to that time, was to join the army.
Yeah, that's right.
You probably remember that more than anyone. Yeah, I guess I don't know why that kind of struck with me, but I wanted to join the military when I was really young. I guess I was 11, 12 at that time. And looking back, I can't think of the reasoning, excuse me.
Yeah.
I guess I just felt like it would be somewhere that I belonged.
Yeah.
And somewhere that suited me. Also, it actually gave me an excuse to kind of not do my best in school as well, which sounds bad, sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But really that was kind of always in the back of my mind, is that I can mess about in school, and the army will always be there.
Yeah.
It's a terrible way to think about it, and it's a childish way to think about it.
Yeah.
But that's what I was. I was childish and naive at the time.
Yeah. Well, you know, the reason I asked that question was, as you know, I work a lot with young people in school, see around about 130 to 150 young people a week. of all ages from year 6 to year 11, and especially the younger ones, and even some of the year 11s, not many of them, they don't think that they're going to be 35 or 25, and you know, and I try and instill in them that if they can get a goal and have a bit of forward thinking, and that was the only reason I asked you that question. Now, things took a bit of a turn, didn't it, at school, where, you know, if I was going to call this interview anything, I would be saying to the young people, don't give in, don't give up,
Definitely.
because the outcome is awesome if you don't give up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well as though, like, what you hit on something is that they don't imagine being 35, and I think that's kind of, there's some kind of normality about that. Like when I have been 12, and like when I think back to when I was young, it's like, yeah, of course I didn't think I would be 35 one day. It's not really something that comes into an 11-year-old's mind much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not,
Yeah.
you don't think of, especially like if you are a bit like loose, you know, just as a character.
Yeah.
It's definitely not something you really think about. So what I'd always say is, like, my word of advice is that the reason that I went wayward, and the reason that I went, and the reason that I thought, oh, I'll join the army or whatever, was because I didn't find what I really loved at that age.
Yeah.
So I guess my best piece of advice would be, like, find something that you try new things, like anything, in any kind of sector of, you know, it doesn't have to be sport. It can be sport. It's fine, but, you know, film or art or TV or anything, you know, even like something as simple as or stupid as gardening. You know, find something you love, and you'll start to figure out. You'll start to see the goal. The goal will come after that. Do you know what I mean?
Very
like,
good. Yeah.
If you try and set a goal before you find what you love to do, the goal's not like.
Yeah.
You're never really gonna fully want to get there.
No.
Whereas, like, for me, when I found film.
So tell us a little bit about that, because where were you and what were you doing when you kind of thought about it?
When I thought about making movies?
Yeah.
It's a good question. I think you probably remember, like, I remember talking to you, man, when I was really young. And I was always telling you about movies, and you're like, oh, you should be a film critic one day. I don't know if you ever remember telling me. Yeah. That always stuck in my mind. I always loved films. I always loved them. But sometimes growing up, you don't think it's something that is like a real career thing. Like, I never thought some guy made that. I never thought that some guy in a group of cool people made that film.
Yeah.
Whatever the film is. It's not until I got a bit older that I started to realise that people make stuff. You know, people make films. People make TV.
Yeah.
I think a real turning point for me was the trip to New York with Chris.
Right.
That was like, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Chris was your coach, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah. Chris has done a lot for me, like, throughout my life. A really big shout out to Chris, because he's been amazing. But that trip to New York with him was like, it was just crazy. It was like, I just turned 18. I'd spent my 17th year not really doing much. I was having a good time. I was enjoying it. I was enjoying being young and 17, but I wasn't really doing too much. And I started to realise that I really need to kind of figure out what my next steps are. Like, I got to that age where I was like, I really need to figure it out. And like, at the time I was training to continue to go in the army, actually, really, was what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was half-hearted though about it. I was like, I didn't really want to do it, but it was something that I thought would be like an easy option. Anyway, I went to New York at 18, just turned 18 with Chris, and I don't know, I think seeing a different world, or seeing a different side of the, like, I'd been to London and stuff, but like jumping on a plane for 8 hours, going to New York and like being in Times Square, and just even the funny coincidences that kept happening to Chris especially.
Yeah.
And I'm sure on the different podcasts they'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But that for me was like a real eye-opener. And I remember coming back and like, it's really, really weird, because it wasn't like a conscious decision. It was like, all right, I know what I'm going to do now.
Yeah.
It's like, that's me for the rest of my life. I'm going to make films.
Yeah.
I guess I did think about it, but it was almost like like call it God, you know.
Yeah.
It'd gone like, okay, this is what you're gonna do now. This is it. This is your
Yeah.
path. This is your journey.
Yeah.
And I tell you, like, I'm being 100% honest. Things after that just fell into place.
Yeah.
Like a jigsaw, like a
Yeah.
jigsaw falling into place. It just, things just started lining up. I started reading, I started researching film. I bought a little camera. You probably bought it for me. And after about a year of kind of, you know, researching and making things, and I went to college and I studied
Yeah.
it properly, and then that opened up the path for me going to university now.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, you mentioned Times Square there because you know, you remember from the first, and anyone who knows me, Teen Challenge that was set up by Patrick Hinton. They found me on the street, and Pete and Aidan and them who were waiting for Teen Challenge came and prayed for me, as you know, in a coma. But Teen Challenge had their own, like the church, their home church was in Times Square, and if there's anywhere I'd probably want to go, Caleb's been. So Chris said that they couldn't believe it because where they were staying, it was right over the road from Times Square.
Yeah.
And you know, Caleb mentioned something there, and I believe that was a spiritual trip because you found your passion. But you know, you went to that church, and you know, you might think this is a coincidence, but this is the organisation that kind of impacted me, along with Alpha. You know, Alpha was like the finishing touches, but the people who found me on the street with Teen Challenge, you know, Pete and Aidan, and all the Teen Challenge Teesside, Patrick Hinton, who became like my mentor. So
From that church.
From that
Yeah.
church, you know, it all originated from David Wilkinson setting that church up.
Again, it's another funny coincidence. We'd been in New York we had 5 days in New York, then we moved to New Jersey for a competition. We did 5 days in New York, and I reckon we were there for at least 3 solid days.
Yeah.
And Chris was looking for it.
Yeah.
And one day we both left the hotel, turned right, walked down. We stopped for like less than a minute. Chris turned round, I turned around, and it was right in front of us.
Wow.
And we were like, oh, it's been here the whole time, and we haven't thought about
Yeah.
we haven't seen it once. We walked
Yeah.
past it like 100 times, and we just
Wow.
never seen it.
Amazing.
And again, just another one of those little coincidence thing that, like, and the fact that we went in and we went into a service for that as well.
Amazing.
It was great. It was
We're
really
hoping to
cool.
go there at some point. We've got an invitation from Darryl Robson and Joe Shepardson out there, so we are hoping to go at some point.
Yeah, you really
Maybe
should.
next year, yeah.
You really should go.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to ask you was, you know, I know that you've just been a runner in Scotland.
Sure.
It was tough. Was it tough?
It was tough. Yeah, it was tough. It was like so I guess you could class it as my first professional job in the industry.
Yeah.
That's not technically true, because I did a runner job on the Channel 4 set
Yeah.
a few days before
Yeah.
the Scotland film started. However, it wasn't as intense, and it wasn't like I was only a daily. A daily is someone that comes in for 1 day,
Yeah.
and then they might get hired again.
Yeah.
If we need them. And I was a daily for Channel 4.
Right.
That was weeks ago. That was like back in July,
Yes.
before Scotland. So like,
Yeah.
but the film I did in Scotland, yeah, it was like a proper running job. So I would class it as my first professional job, and it was tough. And like I said, it was like you have expectations of what it's going to be, like,
Yeah.
but never quite. It's never going to be exactly what you expect. You expect kind of Hollywood, the classic,
Yeah.
you know. But seeing it for what it was
Yeah.
actually really good, because
Yeah.
not only did it make me believe that I could definitely do this,
Yeah.
it also made me think like this is just the way it works anyway, and it kind of opened my eyes to the way the industry actually works.
Yeah. So I know that at the moment you're in your third year, and Jamie and Finlay have set up a
Yeah,
like a production company.
me and Jamie started it It's good. Yeah, we started it just before summer break. About the time I went to Scotland.
Yeah.
And it was like a hotbed for activity for me at that time because
Yeah.
I had the Channel 4 thing. Me and Jamie opened the production company. Within a few days of opening it, we had a paid gig straight away.
Brilliant.
It was filming this architecture talk
Yeah.
at the Bartlett School of Architecture, which is like UCL.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, that is like it's probably the best school in the planet for architecture.
Right.
Maybe, you know, MIT and stuff's good as well in America, but at least in Europe it's probably the best.
Yeah. What do they call that again?
It's called the Bartlett.
The Bartlett.
And it's at UCL.
Yeah.
And I have a friend that goes there actually called Sam.
Yeah.
That was where our first paid gig was as well.
Amazing.
I think we broke up for summer now.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen each other for a while because I had Scotland and we've both been doing different things. But when we go back, we're just probably going to go straight back into it. Yeah, find it, hopefully.
I know that people might think, oh, well, Graham's, you know, his dad, so he's going to say this, but he did the Jonas Centre video for us, 2019. And the amount of people who've looked at that video now, this is no disrespect to anyone else. We have had companies where we've paid quite a bit of money to have that done.
Yeah.
But the people who commented on that one that you did was phenomenal. So, you know, and the amount of people who watch my videos and the amount of people where I go, I would just say if you need anything filming or you want something made, just
definitely
give Caleb and his production team a ring. We'll come and do it for you.
Definitely.
I'm their manager now, so you can give me a bit of give me a bit of the cut now.
Especially if it's in London, I guess, as well.
Yeah, if it's in London, no problem.
That 2019 video. Well, that time then, that was before I even went to college.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
That was before I went to college. That was when I was still really learning.
Yeah.
I'd reached out to a few filmmakers in the area for like kind of mentorship, really.
Yes.
And found a guy called Pete. He was awesome, amazing. Just like I didn't spend that long with him because I went to college and then COVID was like not long around the corner after that. But he was really great at the time, and that's another thing as well. I'd say is that like find a mentor if you can.
Yeah.
It's not always easy. It's like it's easier said than done, isn't it?
Yeah,
but I did that. I found that he was really, really. He taught me a lot in that short amount of time, like when I was 19.
Yeah.
And he kind of motivated me to research the craft more of filmmaking.
Yeah.
He even took me on like a set that he worked on. Went back in 2019. That was a long time. Feels like a lifetime ago. And he. That's kind of another piece of advice I'd say. Is find a mentor and. That was before I went to college. It feels like a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I'm still proud of that video.
Very good.
Yeah.
And I know that looking forward, you know, this is your last year, and you've already told us that you're probably going to live in London, or wherever this industry takes you. The one thing I would like to say to you, you know, your mum's been behind you 1,000,000%, because in the beginning, like obviously I was away a lot, and what would you say about your mum's input in your life?
It's almost like I'm speechless about it, really. It's like it's just been like astronomical, to be honest. Just the support. I think the one thing that is good that I've always had, that's like it's almost like having like an advantage over other people.
Yeah.
Not to say like other people don't have it, but the support from you and mum.
Yeah.
Always, no matter what my adventure was in life, and no matter what I did and where I went.
Yeah.
And how I behaved, the support from you and mum has always been just like I really don't know what to say about it. It's like it's crazy because I couldn't do it without you two. Like there's no way I'll be here without that support. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'd be doing. when you are trying new things, I mean, I talked earlier in the video about trying different stuff.
Yeah.
I did that. I did that
Yeah.
to the absolute max. I tried
Yeah.
a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to do it
No.
without that sort of support system in
Yeah.
place from you and Mum.
Yeah.
And just for you guys to turn around and be like, okay, go for it.
Yeah.
And then, it's just a complete weight off the shoulders. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of leaves me a bit speechless. To
Yeah.
be
Well,
honest, 'cause-
sometimes you know that the smallest of words mean the most
yeah,
of expressions, but we obviously believe that having a mum and dad is crucial, and the foundation of marriage is key. I've known this a long time before anything existed. God created a family, and the reason being is you get the structure, and yourself and Boaz definitely had that structure.
yeah.
So just to finish, Caleb, I just want to. Do you want to add anything? Is there anything you'd like to say? Like, 'cause hopefully a lot of young people will watch this, and
Sure, I hope so too.
people, even older people, are just about to give up on a dream. Like that, they might think, well, it'll never ever work. I'll never be able to do it, because the biggest thing that we have in our heads is that we'll never be able to do it, and you quit. And I know that very well, but I think my inner strength from Jesus has given me the strength to never quit and to look ahead. Because I was always looking behind at poor Graham and getting this selfish card out. I think looking forward is a key thing for all of us.
Definitely, I totally agree, and I think, I mean, yeah, just to even add to your point is that you don't know what's coming next. Do you know what I mean? It's not like the one thing I've learned through my journey into trying to be or being a filmmaker is that you just don't know what is like round the corner. Like some of them jobs I've got, some of the people I've met, the things that have happened to me have they've been completely unexpected and nothing you could have ever planned for. You can plan for things until you're blue in the face, but sometimes life just kind of hands you things that are just around the corner, like just a little bit further, and you're gonna get there.
Yeah.
And that's just through just not stopping trying to do it.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Just keep pushing a little bit more, because you really don't know what's coming. And I can say that I feel like I have authority to say that. Excuse me. Because that's the way life has been for me. It's like I've just kept trying to do stuff, and then things have happened and doors have opened for me.
Yeah.
And I think that can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
I'm not special in that way, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing special about me. I just kind of, I've done, because of the support system from you and Mum, I guess, as well. But because I've always had that mentality of just do what you really love to do, like I said earlier as well.
Yeah.
And then keep trying to do it,
no
matter what.
Yeah. I think the key factor, what we always try to do, is to get you to do the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many people
That's it as well.
do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
They go like the immoral way, and the reason it doesn't work is because they get arrested, or they get something happens to them, or they get the property took off them. But doing it a moral way is what we've always tried to show.
So important. So important. And like, to quote like Spike Lee, always do the right thing. You know what I mean? Always do the right thing. Even if you think it's gonna, it might hinder you in some way. If you're doing the right thing, it's not gonna harm you in any way. You're gonna be a better person for it. And if it is God, if it isn't God, you will be rewarded for that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've had that in some way. I've always tried to do the right thing.
Yeah.
You and Mum have always taught me that, and
Yeah.
I've always just tried to do what feels right at the time as well.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, we know that, we believe that you reap what you sow. Me and Chris mentioned this on the first podcast, that you reap what you sow, and if you're sowing into good stuff, you'll reap good stuff, you know.
I agree, yeah.
And if you're trying your hardest to do the right thing, then eventually the right thing will happen. We're a great believer of it. And
I agree.
so, Caleb, it's been great to chat with you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll see you again.
Yeah, I mean, I'll come on anytime.
Yeah,
That's cool.
brilliant. And then maybe next time we're in London, we can do a live shot of maybe the university and
Definitely.
let people see where we've
Make
just
a
been
little
speaking
video.
about.
Definitely. I love that.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
well, thank you everyone for watching again. Please share with your friends, let your friends see this, and as I say, it'll be on Facebook, and we're going to go live every week, me and Chris, and we'll have people there, and we'll have the odd videos with guests, but we want to just say this: if you can help us in any way to create a podcast every week, we'd value your help. We know it'd be really good. So from myself and Caleb, we say goodbye and God bless you all.
Yeah,
Bye
thank you
for
for
now.
having me.